Hello, my name is Catherine Sautter, and today I will be talking to you about environmental policies and how they affect Indigenous American populations. All art is owned by the Aaron Hansen Gallery. Here's a research overview, and while I don't want to summarize the entire slide for you, I'd like to point out the second piece on this particular slide. It says there is a reason to believe that government programs go against Native sovereignty, possibly a reason to correlate with a lack of policy endorsement. And ultimately, this is what inspired my research. So Native people do live in an alarming rate of poverty, and that's been proven through research, which I've cited on my slide. But my goal for this research includes breaking down the barrier that Native Americans don't support environmental policies, which I don't believe to be true, while highlighting how poverty-stricken their community is. I feel that these things have to be addressed before I can further my research and then highlight a lack of sovereignty that is in current environmental policies. And therefore I can explain the lack of participation by tribes today. I suspect that my research will showcase these factors, being outstanding poverty and program support. Existing research has proven, as I've stated and cited, that Native Americans do live at a higher rate of poverty, but there is not extensive research to divulge program support or going against programs. While several researchers in my studies did cite it seldomly, it was more underlying, and there was never any direct questions or direct research to support those statements. So why aren't current programs being utilized? That's the big question. So my intended audience is specifically legislators who create programs, but also environmental workers or nonprofits that could possibly see the worth in propelling these issues forward. It is possible that tribal leaders may also see the importance of these subjects, and maybe it'll create a unity among the voices of their people, and they'll get more involved or find some better ways to utilize programs. So here's a summary of how I plan to collect my data. I'm going to be using a survey, and I'll be administering through local P.O. boxes around Navajo nations and in the outskirt regions. The sample size goal is 600, and some of the questions that I've cited on there, I didn't put specific questions, but they all, in the beginning of the survey, point to household incomes, how many people live in the household, as well as household amenities like heat and electricity, running water. And then at the end of my survey, I asked the questions of which renewable energy projects would that said individual support, and if they'd be interested in employment with those energy sustainable programs. After gathering data, I'd like to analyze it and average it, and then I'd like to document the findings according to which part of Navajo Nation that those members reside. I feel like I can show the correlation in the data across the entire land space by doing this. So here's a little bit more. So my timeline goals: 6 months for the first phase of research to outline the poverty as well as the program support. I expect to receive expedite review for IBR because there's no inherent risk brought on by my survey. I feel like the results should be fairly quick as long as I can maintain my goal of 600 samples. I feel most comfortable, like I said, with 100 samples from each area of Navajo Nation along with the outskirt area. And as of now, research is expected to have a team of no more than 3 individuals, 1 local guide included, and I'd like team members to have experience in Native American studies and or environmental law, which is highly desired. So sampling technique, as I said, survey administered to all local post offices. I would distribute all results to people that participated in the survey, and I forgot to mention earlier, as a small memento for people that participate, there will be a $5 Visa gift card. Also, I'd like to give these results to tribal leadership, but I will not divulge results unless I get the needed population size. So here's a critique of my project plan. So I feel like this piece of research is only minorly effective due to the remaining research that's required, and that would be the second part to really understand the sovereignty. I think it really depends on the responses I get from the local population, if I can meet my 600 sample size being a really big factor. And existing research poses similar questions, but it's in hypotheticals, never as a primary part of the research. To maintain reliability, I didn't use the 2010 census, which a lot of my research did use for when I was reading through, mostly because being that it's 2020, I feel like a 10-year gap is too much time to use that in my particular research. So I do feel like I did well in administering my survey. I feel like it's effective to go through P.O. boxes since most people in Navajo Nation use P.O. boxes. But I think that I could have had a better result if I had started dissecting government policies at the same time that I administered my survey. I think this would save a lot of time between my stages in research, and I may actually develop my research quicker or maybe find some shortfalls in my research a little better. So I think that's something I need to consider. And here are my references. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.